Thank you for joining us today. I'm Joe Doucette, author of the blog Managing Plant Operations with Joe Doucette. I had a very non-traditional background of getting into plant operations, and now I'm a supervisor of a small plant in Nevada. And I'd like to share a little bit with you about that background today, and then also talk a little bit about some of the things that the blog could provide. With that non-traditional background, there's not exactly a degree in supervising a plant or working in a plant. We all come from construction, maybe mining, maybe engineering backgrounds, and the blog provides a little bit of tips on non-traditional 24/7 shift work plant environments. So if you bear with us, we'll get started and talk a little bit about where I came from and how we got to where we are today. So like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about my background. You know, everybody kind of takes that non-traditional path. If you'd asked me when I was 18 years old that I'd be supervising a gas plant in the middle of the desert in Nevada, I probably would have laughed at you. Looking at that, you know, I was an 18-year-old political science major at UNLV and kind of spinning my wheels and had no idea what I was doing. Next thing I know, I joined the Navy as a nuclear power plant mechanic on a submarine. It gave me a whole different perspective, and I kind of had a passion for it. Really enjoyed what I did, gave me that hands-on experience. You know, in backgrounds in management in the plant, a lot of times we get construction managers and engineering managers. Not a lot of hands-on experience, so it gives me that different perspective that I like to bring to the plant. After I got out of the Navy, I went back and decided to get an engineering degree. As a mechanic, I figured, oh shoot, might as well do mechanical. So here I am, about to graduate with an MBA, and trying to apply that every day to plant operations and sharing some of the tips that I've learned along the way with you. So the next question you might ask is, why do I really enjoy plant operations, and especially supervision in plant operations? You know, I remember being in the Navy when I was like 22 years old, and things just always change. You never knew what was going to happen day to day. And now that I'm in the corporate world as a supervisor of gas plant, it's kind of that same perspective. You know, most engineers, when they get into management, kind of ride that desk, and that is just definitely not who I am. Yes, I've got to put in the hours behind the computer, but I also enjoy getting out in the plant, working with my team, and being productive. And the nice thing is every day it changes. In a 24/7 shift work plant environment, you never know what's going to be broken next or what next operational goal you got to meet. And although it makes it challenging, that's what makes working in a plant a blast. So next, let's talk a little bit about the blog. I've kind of been hinting at it, but long story short, I like to take examples I see along the way throughout my career or maybe in the past and bring them into the blog. You know, I'm not one of those people who enjoys reading hey, these are the 10 best things you could do in your day. I want a real example. Tell me what's happened to you so that I can learn from your mistakes and vice versa. So that's what I like to do, is show mistakes I've seen either myself make or those around me, and bring them into that blog to give you some tips to make your operations and your plant environment a better place. We all want to enjoy going to work, and that's the goal at the end of the day. So let's kind of provide a couple of examples. One that always makes me laugh is, and if I haven't put it in a blog post yet, I'll definitely put it in one, I was a young mechanic, and I pretty much blew up a piece of equipment in the Navy on a submarine. And I remember immediately calling my chief, he's like the supervisor in the engine room, and saying I really screwed up the Sharples lube oil purifier. And he comes running down, he looks at it, and I tell him exactly what I did, the mistake I made, and he goes, do you know how much that piece of equipment costs? And I look at him and I say, I have no idea. And I think it was in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $30,000. And he goes, are you ever not going to tighten that again? And I just said, no, I never will. At this point, I thought I was going to be kicked out of the Navy. And he laughs at me and he goes, well, sounds like the best $20,000 to $30,000 the Navy's ever spent. And he showed me how to help fix it, and we went about our day. So I really want to take the time for you guys joining us today and learning a little bit about my background. Like I said, I come from that unique background. I had that hands-on experience early on in life as a mechanic, and then carried that through, got an engineering degree a little bit later in life. Gives me a unique perspective. And I'm hoping that unique perspective and some of the daily examples and mistakes that I make and mistakes that some of my coworkers make help create a better plant environment for you. And so feel free to read more on the blog. Again, it's Managing Plant Operations with Joe Doucette, and I hope to work with you soon.